Hey guys, Angela here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to continue to introduce myself to you in this video. And as you can tell by the title, it is going to be a list of things that I do not do. And that includes things I don't buy, habits that I no longer have, things like that. So I know we all come to YouTube, and when I say we all, I mean myself. We come to YouTube to see what some of our favorites are buying, what they're doing, what they're loving. And that's still my very favorite thing to do on YouTube. But I think at least the people that I follow have all started to come to this collective consciousness around just the amount of things that we consume, habits or ideals that, you know, once was good for them but aren't anymore. And there are a bunch of these videos going around where people are talking about things that they do not do anymore. And so I thought that this would be a good way to continue to introduce myself to you all on this channel, because there are a lot of things that typical people that do fashion and lifestyle videos create content around that I don't do. And it's not because I don't want to. Well, most of them aren't because I don't want to. It's circumstantial. So I thought I'd share some of those things just in case you wonder why you never see certain type of content. And I'd go ahead and use this opportunity to give you an idea of why. So I'm going to jump right into the video. I have the list of things right here on my iPad. So if I'm looking down, that means I am looking at my list because I don't have this memorized at all. And I want to give a disclaimer that a lot of this stuff has to do with my aesthetics, right? And so I don't want it to come off as if, you know, I'm condemning people who do these things. Girl, most of these things I wish I could do, right? I wish I could, but you know, as I said, circumstances don't allow me to. So in no way am I bashing people that do some of these things that are on this list. It's just, it doesn't work for me and my lifestyle at this moment. Also, it's important to note that I am a person that believes that we all have the opportunity to change their mind. So if you see me doing some of the things that are on this list later on in my YouTube career, it's because I changed my mind and I'm allowed to do so. So there's that.
Back up! Back up! Mind your business, that's all. Mind your business.
So the first thing I have on my list is I do not drive. I don't drive. I don't have a car. And it's by choice. So maybe 2 years or so ago now, I sold my car to my little sister. It was paid off. I didn't have a note on it or anything. So I sold it to her at like market value. She needed it more than I did. But I mostly sold it to her because my apartment and my job is within a mile of each other. And so most of the time I walk to work when the weather permits. And then when the weather doesn't permit, I jump on the school shuttle to get back and forth to work. Another reason that I sold the car is I don't like driving in Chicago. It is extremely scary to me. I learned to drive in Nashville and it is completely different. So I didn't enjoy it. So most of the time I wouldn't drive outside of my neighborhood anyway. I would get in an Uber. Also, parking out here is terrible. Parking is terrible. And so I would find myself, especially late at night, not being able to find a parking spot, taking 20, sometimes 30 minutes to find parking. And it just was becoming too much of a hassle, so much so that my car would stay parked in the same parking spot for weeks so that I would have somewhere to park it and I would just pay to like Uber and stuff like that. So I just came to the conclusion that it didn't make sense to have a car because I wasn't even using it to like get groceries and stuff like that. I have a grocery store in my neighborhood. I have a Target in my neighborhood, Walgreens, all of that stuff. So I was walking to do that stuff anyway. And it just made more sense to get rid of it. So the next thing that I have on my list is professional hair removing services. So I do not get professional bikini waxes or eyebrow waxes or threading or anything like that. And this is one of those things that I absolutely wish that I could do. It's just I have a form of skin lupus that makes my skin very sensitive to ingredients and fragrances, but also it is very sensitive to tension. And so things like waxing and threading just pulls too much on my skin. It bruises easy, it tears easily. So since my diagnosis, which has been the last 5 years, I haven't had a professional bikini wax. I did try threading my eyebrows a few times, maybe a couple years ago, and it was bruising just too much. And so I've stopped doing that as well. To remove hair from my body, specifically like my bikini area, I use Nair sensitive skin hair removing lotion. It works perfectly fine. I just have to do it like every week, which is annoying. As far as my brows, One of the side effects of my skin lupus is that I experience hair loss, and a lot of the times it's around the perimeter of my head, the crown of my head, my brows, and my lashes. So I don't have very many brows to begin with, but when they do get a little wild, I'll just pluck off the extra hair. As far as my legs, I just shave them with a razor. Another thing that I do not do is wear fake eyelashes. I do not like fake eyelashes. I don't like the extensions. I don't like the strips. I don't personally like them.
A good day. Okay? Now back to that steak in the table.
I think they look good on other people. I have a best friend that does eyelashes and she's amazing at it. If you're in the St. Louis area, hit me up. I'll give you her information. I just personally don't care for them. I don't like the heaviness around my eyes. They always, I don't care in what form, irritate my eyes. I wear contacts and I have an autoimmune deficiency that causes me to have extreme dry eyes. And for whatever reason, lashes, lash glue, however you attach it, it irritates the hell out of them. And then just aesthetically, it just is not my thing. Like, I just don't like having super dark eyelashes, if that makes sense. I probably do like a couple swipes of mascara on my eyelashes and that's it. So I do not do false lashes. And again, this is not like me saying that no one should wear them. I actually think they look really great on other people. They're just not my thing. So the next thing that is on my list is fake nails and nail polish. I do not go to the nail shop and get anything done to my hands outside of just a manicure. So I get my cuticles taken care of. I get my nails clipped and shaped, and that's it. I don't get any polish, not even clear polish. I definitely don't wear false nails. I do not like gel nail polish. I do not like dip powder. I don't like any of it. I prefer just my natural nails. And in my experience, everything outside of regular nail polish, which does not last, so it's like a waste of time, damages your nail beds. Gel polish, dip polish, acrylic, all of it like damages your nail bed in some form or fashion. So I prefer to just like wear my natural nails without polish. And my friends are always like, throw some polish on. I'm like, no, I like them to look exactly the way that they were out of my fingers, and I'm okay with that. I do have to admit though that it's fall, and one of my favorite nail polishes is Lincoln Park After Dark. And I used to wear that exclusively as soon as September 15th hit. But over the last few years or so, I just haven't even bothered. But I have some in my bathroom, and every time I go into the cabinet, I'm like, God, I should just put a little bit of Lincoln Park After Dark on my nails. I don't know, I might. Don't be surprised if I upload a video and I have Lincoln Park After Dark on my nails. I've already given you all the disclaimer that I have the right to change my mind. Next on my list is white wine. I do not drink white wine. At least I don't drink it exclusively anymore. So this time last year, I probably only drank white wine. Riesling, Pinot. I love rosé, which is not a white wine, but you know, it's not red. And then I also love champagne. I am a champagne girl. But I went to dinner one day with my girls and I ordered a steak. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have whatever wine that you all suggest with the steak. And it was a Cabernet. And one sip of that Cabernet and I was hooked.
The flavor, oh my God, it's so real, like.
I've always been afraid of red wine because I just didn't think that I would like the taste. But I don't know, one sip of that Cabernet and I haven't looked back. I have pretty much exclusively drank Cabernet since that day, and it's been almost a year now. I am absolutely obsessed with it. Now, if it's white wine available and that's all that's available, then I'll go for it. Or if it's a Cab or a red blend that I don't necessarily like, then I may double back to like a Riesling or whatever white wine is available, as long as it is not Chardonnay, because that crap is disgusting. We don't drink Chardonnay. Next on the list is I do not straighten my hair, or at least I have not straightened my hair in the last 5 years. So under these braids, I am natural. And for the last maybe 3 years, I have exclusively worn my natural hair. Now it's been in different styles. It's been a little longer. It's been a little shorter. I'm actually growing out a short haircut and have plans to go on next month and get a funkier, longer short haircut. So these braids are just protective styles while I'm growing my hair out a little bit. But I have exclusively worn my natural hair sans any heat. So I have not straightened my hair, as I said, in the last 5 years. I've noticed that my hair is just much healthier. Again, a side effect of my skin lupus is that I lose hair, but even prior to that, I have scalp psoriasis, and so sometimes I get little scabs and sores, and a lot of the times when I scratch those scabs up, hair goes with it, especially in the crown of my head. So my hair is very thin, very, very fine there. And when my hair is natural, you can't tell because the rest of the hair around the perimeter of my head is extremely thick. I'm maybe between like a 4B and 4C, so I have combination 4 hair. And so you can barely tell when my hair is in its natural state. When I press it out though, you can see straight through it. Like you can see straight through the hair. So I just do not straighten my hair anymore. Next on my list is restrictive eating. So you'll learn that I absolutely love to work out. I love being active. And it's mostly because I just love the way working out makes me feel. It's like brushing my teeth, taking a bath. It's just a part of my day. And so with that comes a certain level of like conscious eating, right? I am conscious about what I eat. I have a pretty good diet, but I do not restrict myself, meaning there is nothing that I don't eat. The only thing that I do not really partake in is dairy, and mostly it's milk. But I still eat cheese. I still use butter. I just don't drink dairy milk, and I limit the amount of ice cream that I eat because it just, for whatever reason, dairy milk tears my stomach up. But everything else that's dairy, I actually do still eat. So when I say I'm not restrictive, that means I'm not vegetarian, vegan. I eat all types of meat. So I eat pork, I eat beef, I eat chicken. I love chips. I love chocolate. When I want chips and I want chocolate, I eat chips and I eat chocolate. I've just learned, portion control. I've learned to eat until I'm satisfied and not until I'm full. And, it just sort of comes naturally to me. And so my diet and my workout aligns to give me the body that I prefer, the body that I like. And that sort of thing, I feel like just comes with time. So I do not restrict my diet whatsoever. The next thing that I have on my list is I do not wear heels very often. So not growing up, but maybe right around 14, so 9th grade, I started to wear heels exclusively. I was a very grown up high school student. And so I would wear like heels and blazers and things like that. I probably wore heels almost exclusively from 9th grade up until about 2 years ago. And my feet just absolutely gave out on me. That's the only way that I can explain it. Like I literally have a bunion on each of my feet. And that does not sound glamorous, but I mean, it's the truth. And the one that's on my right foot is like a pain in the behind. And so heels just do not work with my feet anymore. If I do wear heels, they are thicker heels and they are shorter than normal. So not a kitten heel, but not far from it. And when I do wear a stiletto heel, I'm very conscious of what I'm doing. So I have to be going somewhere where I am going to be mostly sitting. So I do not wear heels exclusively. I wouldn't call myself a sneakerhead because I typically wear what I like to call the classics. So you'll mostly see me in like a Van or a Chuck or a Stan Smith or maybe even some Gazelle, some Air Force Ones, things like that. I do buy like some trendy shoes or like hyped shoes sometimes, but for the most part, I'm in the classics or I'm in a nice boot or in a nice flat sandal or something like that. So the next thing that I have on my list is I do not wear perfume. I have to say though, this is one that I am actively trying to reverse. Again, as I mentioned, my skin is very sensitive to fragrance. And so my perfume began to like itch my skin. And so I had to stop wearing it, as well as stop using body washes with fragrance, soap with fragrance, detergent with fragrance. So I have just been a fragrance-less person, and I've been able to introduce fragrance back into some of my body washes, some of my soap. And so I am currently experimenting with my favorite perfume. So I went and bought the Nest in Indigo in a rollerball perfume, and I've been putting it on my wrist and like every once in a while putting it behind my ear and on my neck to see if I am irritated by it, and I haven't been. Nest Indigo is my fragrance. I'm the type of person where I like to have a like single identifier. I like for people to like smell something, see something, and immediately think of me. So red lipstick is my signature, Nest Indigo is my signature, and I would like to get back to it. In the meantime, I'm using like almond oil or vanilla oil or something like that to like add some smell, right? Because I hate walking around not smelling like anything. I will say the other day, somebody was like, oh, you smell good. What do you have on? And I literally only had on the almond oil body wash. And so I don't know, I'm doing something right, but I would love to get back to my Nest Indigo because it is my absolute favorite fragrance ever. The next thing that I have on my list is code switching, specifically at work. 3 years or so, 2 jobs ago, I applied for a job and I made a conscious effort to go into that interview with my natural hair. And at the time I had longer, bigger natural hair and I wore it out and I wore it in a wash and go. And I was extremely nervous, but I got the job and that gave me confidence to go into the next job, which is the one that I am working at currently, with my natural hair, interview with it, and stand boldly in it. And it hasn't stopped me from getting a job. I've actually gotten a promotion since I've been at that job. And so it's given me more and more confidence to not feel like I need to straighten my hair out or pull it back in a ponytail or twist it down to make people feel comfortable with it. Another thing that I've started doing is I love hoops. And I have a friend that always wears her hoops to work. And I've always wanted to, but I'm like, I don't know, right? But I've decided that hoops are me. I am hoops. And so I'm going to wear my natural hair and I'm going to wear hoops. And I just am going to be who I am. And another thing that I've started doing is just being me and showing my big personality at work. I mean, I still make sure that I maintain a level of professionalism, but like my personality, like making people laugh.
One of the adjustments that I've made is to the age of guys that I'm dating. So I've extended the age range. So I'm dating guys between the ages of 30 and 45. So we're literally talking about Montes and Miltons, right? Montes are young, they wear Jordans, they like to pop bottles. Miltons are a little older, they like cognac. They love a wingtip, right?
Being goofy and things like that, I never thought that it would translate well at work, but you know, over the last year before COVID banned us all home, I'd start showing my personality more. And even like over Zoom and stuff, I would just be like cracking jokes and things like that. And my boss actually made a comment like, you should start a YouTube channel or something like that, which she's one of the people that kind of gave me the push to do this. So I've just decided that I am going to show up in my authenticness, my blackness, and it's been working for me. So no more code switching. Now y'all gonna get this work voice though, because I actually do a lot of training and facilitation, and I talk over a lot of like learning courses and things like that. So I do have a work voice that sort of turns on whenever I'm in front of a camera. So y'all won't get this voice, but everything else, authentic. The last thing that I have on my list, and this is not a comprehensive list, but I think it's a good list that sort of gives you a little more of an idea of who I am, is birth control. So I stopped taking birth control maybe about 3 years ago now. Prior to that, I had been on birth control since I was 14, with the exception of maybe 2 years in undergrad. So I've spent 20 plus years on birth control, and I just thought it was time to wean myself off of it. So that's something that I'm always honest about when I'm dating somebody, because I'm not getting back on birth control. It's not gonna happen. I can feel the difference. Like, it has gotten increasingly better over the last 3 years. I can tell that the hormones have completely left my body. My periods are normal again. I have never been so excited to feel a cramp in my life, or to see, you know, a even blood flow in my life. But I just feel like our bodies are meant to do that. And being on birth control for 2 decades was just not good. So it's not something that I plan on ever revisiting again. That's probably the main thing on this list that I'll never go back on. And so birth control, I don't do. And so that's going to conclude the list of things that I do not do. I hope that you all enjoyed that. I hope it gave you, as I said, more insight into who I am and what kind of content you can and shouldn't expect from this channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.